There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello, BookTube. I'm Shawn the Book Maniac. Here I am with my exciting announcement. I don't know, like I said on my Friday reads the other day, I don't know how exciting it's going to be for you, but it's very exciting for me. It's been so exciting I haven't been sleeping well at night with positive anticipation of taking this big step in my BookTube life. Anyway, I won't keep you in suspense anymore, but I hope you listen past the one sentence announcement to the details. But with this video, I am hereby launching a Patreon account for my BookTube channel. And I was lucky on October 30th that it's mild enough that I could walk out of the house in shirt sleeves with no coat and film. And you can see the fall backdrop. Anyway, I have been thinking about this for a long time, and I'm making this video with equal parts self-consciousness, excitement, and anticipation, I guess. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about how self-conscious I feel. I think it'll be obvious to you. Never in a million years thought that I would be asking for financial support from my BookTube subscribers, from the BookTube community. But here we are. If you've been following my Friday reads the last several weeks, you'll know the dire straits in which I find myself. I'm not going to repeat any of that here. Let's just leave it at that, and I'd like to focus on what I'm going to be offering. But before I get into what I'm offering, I want to give a shout out and a pledge, if I can be really dramatic about it, to the 99.5% of you who would not in a million years dream of supporting me or other booktubers on Patreon, which is me taking this step means that I will be able to invest more of my time and energy in my BookTube channel. And I pledge, I solemnly swear that the extra stuff I will be doing for Patreon will in no way take away from what I have been doing and what I will continue to do. And in fact, what I will be able to do more of on my no charge, free of charge, Shawn the Book Maniac BookTube channel. So please know that. And the last thing I want to say before I get into describing what you get at the various of the 3 tiers for my new Patreon thingy, if you are interested in giving me a little financial help, a little donation, a little thank you, a little appreciation. I'm feeling very self-conscious using these words. And you don't want to deal with a Patreon monthly thing, I will put my PayPal registered email address in the show notes, and you can make a one-time or whatever, periodic, irregular, one-time contribution that way, okay? I have had such a good time coming up with the various tiers that I'm about to tell you about and what I'm going to offer you at each of the 3 tiers. I've been bouncing all this stuff off some BookTube besties, subscribers, and other booktubers. You all know who you are. Thank you for your support. I've looked at what other booktubers are doing with their Patreon account, and people are doing a lot of good stuff. They're having book club discussions and Zoom chats and stuff, and I have chosen different things that reflect my idiosyncratic, batshit crazy personality in what I'm offering. I assume that that an overwhelming percentage of the people that are going to contribute and sign up to patronize me on Patreon will come in at the cheapest tier, which is $3.25 a month US. All the prices are in US. I guess I could change that to Canadian, but I think I have more subscribers than in America. So for $3.25, you can join the Book Buddy tier. And what do you get for that? Well, not a whole lot, but a couple interesting things. I have designed, if that's not too fancy a word for my design skills, but I've designed and created a Shawn the Book Maniac bookmark. I'm going to show it to you in a minute, and everybody who subscribes at any tier will get one of these in the mail. Let me debut it now. Here it is. So that's the front. And that's the back. I will explain a little bit about it. This is just a random assortment of some of my favorite books. I just scattered them on the floor and took a picture. You know, a lot of design ingenuity went into this. And there's a screenshot of my last Friday Reads from Tokyo in May. There is the QR code for my channel. And Coffee Thursday. I'll take a minute to explain that for those of you that haven't seen the handful of videos where I've told this story before. It's kind of almost like a motto of my channel. And it's an anecdote that a dear friend, not a close friend, sadly, he died at the age of 30 of AIDS before I got a chance to know him nearly as well as I would have loved to. Glenn, here in Saskatoon, he died sometime in the 90s, early 90s, I think. And we used to have great conversations at the gay bar. And one night he told me about a man that he was interested in. I think my friend invited him to go to a movie or something, asked him about it on a date. And this other man quite rudely blew him off. And as the man who had just rejected him was walking away, my friend Glenn called out, "Coffee Thursday?" And that just sums up my dear friend Glenn. And I've told this story a few times on my channel over the years, and it's kind of tickled the fancy of a bunch of subscribers. So there it is on the back of my bookmark. And the bookmark is very heavy quality. And you're going to get one of these if you choose to take out a Patreon thingy in the mail. You should have seen me when these arrived in the mail the other day. I was just having a bookmark orgasm. The other thing that subscribers at the Book Buddy level will get is blogging by moi, Shawn the Book Maniac, right on my Patreon page. I don't know how often. I think it'll be quite frequent at first because I'm going to have lots of time and energy, because I don't imagine that I'm going to get a lot of subscriptions at the upper tiers, but who knows? I don't expect that I will. So I will have lots of time and energy to blog. I don't know how often, but it'll be at least, well, to start, it'll be at least once or twice a week. And it may be audio blogging, written blog entries. Patreon has just introduced a video system. I think I'll keep my videos pretty much on BookTube and not make video content for the Patreon site, but who knows? And I envision kind of podcasty type audio blogs, and one component of those might be me just spontaneously reading you a paragraph from a book I'm reading. And I'd have to keep the excerpts very short for copyright reasons, but to share stuff from what I'm reading right on the Patreon page. So that's the Book Buddy tier. The next tier, the middle tier, is the Story Seeker tier. Say that 10 times fast. And it's $10 US a month. And the name of the tier is Story Seeker. So what do you think you get? What you will get is 2 short stories, audio narrated by me every month. And I will post those on the Patreon website. And so the Story Seeker, the people who subscribe at that level will get to listen to them there. Even though I don't expect, everybody, I'm not the only person in the universe who's having a tough time right now. So I don't expect that a lot of you are going to be able to pitch in at the Story Seeker level, but I am so excited about it, becoming an anthologist of short stories. So the very first story is going to be a free bonus, and it's going up in a separate video at the exact moment that this video goes live. A story by the Canadian suffragette, feminist, politician, and literary and writer, Nellie McClung. It's quite a sweet story, so please go there after you finish watching this video. Pretty much everybody who's watching this video, you know my literary tastes. So it's going to be literary fiction. It isn't going to be mystery stories or westerns or whatever the hell might be out there, fantasy, sci-fi. No, it's going to be literary fiction, whatever that means to me on a shifting day-by-day basis. they must be short stories that are in the public domain. So the writer has to have been dead since, I think, 1971 or maybe 72. So that's quite limiting. And so the stories will typically have been published earlier, much earlier than that possibly. They might be 19th century, they might be early 20th century. And it will be a challenge to me, but so far I've found it's not impossible to find short stories by non-white writers. I will be offering an eclectic mix. I'm thinking that every month, one of the authors that I feature will be a kind of canonical or a famous writer that you've heard. For example, the very first story, I'm pretty sure, is going to be by Edith Wharton. But that the second story each month, or the other story each month, will be by a writer that you or I have never heard of, or most of you and I, until I did my research, had never heard of, that I deem the story worthy enough to share and introduce you to a new writer. So I'm just over the moon with excitement at becoming a Patreon anthologist. And you know how much I love reading out loud. Some of you think I do it fairly well. I'm by no means a professional reader. I'm really excited about taking this step and seeing where it might lead in my own future. At the Story Seeker level, you also get everything that's in the Book Buddy level. So you get the bookmark and you get the blog stuff. Okay? Each upper tier gets everything in the bottom tiers. So yes, you get that as well. So that is the Story Seeker tier. And finally, this is the top tier, the upper crust, that I expect I would be just shocked in a good way if I get very many or any at this level. But this is the Bibliophile Bestie tier, and it's $20 US a month. And here's what you get for that. You get everything in the other two tiers. You get the bookmark, you get the blog entries, you get the 2 audio narrated short stories a month. And here is what you get exclusive to the Bibliophile Besties tier. I will read a book to you. And when I say to you, I mean you and only you. So we would hook up on Voxer or maybe Facebook Messenger. Just a quick little side note. Did you know that Facebook Messenger has increased the maximum capacity of their voice messaging thingy from 1 minute to 30 minutes? So it's very useful for this sort of thing if you don't hate Facebook. So like on Voxer, on Facebook Messenger, or if there's some other app I've never heard of that's free, I will read a book that you and I agree on to you exclusively. So what do you think of that? So it has to be a book that I'm interested enough to read. It might be a book that I'm interested in rereading that I've already read. It might be a book that I've never read, and I would read it to you. So that's one of the perks of the Bibliophile Bestie tier. The other one is I will send you 5 books every year that you support me at that on that level, the Bibliophile Besties level. And I'm excited about that too. Like I say, I don't expect that many of you are going to be in a position or have the slightest bit of interest in contributing at that level. But if you do, you get 5 books a year, and they will be books kind of that you choose, or you give me some guidelines. You know how much I bail, so I always have a pile of bails, books I have DNF'd, and you can choose from those. But I will also be quite happy to go book shopping, probably here in Saskatoon, on your behalf. And if you are willing, I will vlog it and put that video not just on Patreon, but on my BookTube channel, vlogging the book shopping expedition, and maybe be talking to you on Zoom while I'm in the bookstore, and make a whole big event of it. That is the Bibliophile Besties tier. So, I'm feeling self-conscious. I'm feeling excited. I'm full of anticipation to see what, if anything, comes of this endeavor. And I guess, in closing, that if this goes over like a lead balloon, I will call out to you all as you walk away from me. Coffee Thursday!